This party's getting crazy. Let's rock.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking back to the good old days and picking out 10 of the best exclusives for the PlayStation 2. For this list, we'll be looking at games that at the time of their release only appeared on Sony's second console, even if they were ported or re-released elsewhere after the 6th generation of consoles had ended. Believe us when we tell you there was no shortage of PS2 exclusives, but what was your favorite exclusive on the PS2? Let us know down in the comments. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Guitar Hero. Before Nintendo taught us how to play with their Wii, this was the party game. Guitar Hero was a revelation amongst music rhythm game fans and newcomers alike, and spawned a phenomenon that led to an overwhelming number of sequels and spin-offs that all started on the PS2. While Guitar Hero 2 is where the series truly hit the mainstream due to its multi-platform release, you would have been hard-pressed not to find a copy of Guitar Hero and its plastic guitar peripheral alongside any PS2 owner's collection. The simplicity of its controls and literal pick-up-and-play nature made it one of the best games for you and a group of friends to put all that time playing air guitar into real-world practice, and it was an absolute blast. Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. The Gran Turismo series was always the pinnacle of real-life simulation racing ever since its debut on the PS1, but with Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, Polyphony Digital crafted what is considered by some to be their magnum opus of the franchise. While the number of cars was significantly less than in Gran Turismo 2, what was on offer more than made up for the lack of options. With 180 cars, 19 tracks, and numerous high-performance vehicles to choose from, and numerous challenges associated with each, fans of the series had a lot to get their engines going. Gran Turismo 3 also substantially bumped up the detail of each track and vehicle thanks to the increased power of the PS2, making it one of the best-looking racers on the console throughout the entirety of the PS2's lifecycle. To date, Gran Turismo 3 remains the highest rated entry in the long-running franchise. Ratchet & Clank, Up Your Arsenal.
This guy's your biggest fan. That is rather disturbing.
There's no shortage of great action platformers on the PS2, but the Ratchet & Clank series managed to not only stand out due to its inventive weaponry, but also has managed to stand the test of time and become one of Sony's biggest IPs that remains ongoing even 2 decades later. However, even with all the newer iterations and modern upgrades to the familiar formula, Up Your Arsenal is still considered the benchmark for the series. Everything from its variety of weapons, level design, character arcs, and hilarious script were all pitch perfect, and Insomniac even saw fit to include a pretty robust multiplayer mode as well.
I believe some congratulations are in order. After all, my plan worked even more perfectly than expected. Well?
Way to go, dude?
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Outside! Sounds like we gotta start by helping out here!
We've said it before, but Kingdom Hearts is a series that by all accounts shouldn't work as well as it does. The original Kingdom Hearts instantly endeared itself to fans of both Disney and Final Fantasy, and its sequel only improved on the groundwork laid by the first title. The combat was snappier and allowed for greater customization and combo building, the companion AI was vastly improved, the narrative was much easier to follow this time around, for the most part, and the boss fights and worlds you encountered are still some of the most iconic in the series and lifted straight from the Disney Vault itself. There are now 13 games in the series, but the franchise's second entry is undoubtedly the one most beloved by fans.
What? Oh, no, don't even worry about that. That's just real technical, just for us Guardians.
You tricked us!
No.
Metal Gear Solid 3: Snake Eater.
Ha! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Never underestimate Hideo Kojima and his ability to one-up himself. After the immensely impressive but divisive Metal Gear Solid 2, Kojima let fans finally play as Snake like they had always wanted. Sort of. A prequel detailing the origins of Big Boss himself, Kojima took the genre he created and took it to a primitive level, forcing Naked Snake to constantly change his camo to blend in, hunt wild game for health, and even tend to wounds sustained during battle. This might not have been the Snake players were expecting to play as, but it was still very much a Metal Gear Solid title, and Kojima ended up crafting one of his best and most cohesive narratives to date, packing his trademark double crosses and plot twists amongst some of the most emotional gut punches in the entire series.
She was a real hero. She was a true patriot.
Persona 3.
You can't plug your ears and cover your eyes. And so it begins.
The Persona and Shin Megami series already had their fans from their days back on the PS1, but Persona 3 is where the series finally found its mainstream audience. The mix of day-to-day life of a high school student and battling the shadows of the dark hour by night resonated with gamers who wanted a more traditional JRPG and fans of life simulation titles. There continues to be an ongoing argument about whether the third or fourth entry is best, but Persona 3 marked a turning point for the series and proved to be so popular it spawned numerous spin-offs and sequels and made it a household name amongst gamers.
This is gonna be a fun year. I can feel it.
Devil May Cry 3: Dante's Awakening.
It's showtime. Come on.
The original Devil May Cry was the shot of adrenaline the action genre needed to kickstart the PS2, and while the sequel definitely killed the series' momentum, Dante's third entry took things back to the beginning for the Demon Hunter and once again revitalized not only the genre, but the franchise's brand as well. Dante's Awakening gave players a younger and even cockier Dante and a more cohesive story that focused on the rivalry between him and his brother Virgil. Everything about Dante's Awakening just clicked. The playgrounds were larger, the weapon options were better and punchier, and the over-the-top nature of the series was solidified and helped Dante regain his title as the most badass demon hunter in gaming.
I love this. This is what I live for. I'm absolutely crazy about it.
Final Fantasy X.
This is my story. It'll go the way I want it, or I'll end it here.
Final Fantasy XII could have easily taken this spot, but we decided to focus on 10 due to its popularity and impact on the long-running series. By the time Final Fantasy X released on the PS2, the series had become synonymous with PlayStation, and just like Final Fantasy VII before it, Final Fantasy X made the PS2 a must-have system for not just Final Fantasy fans, but fans of JRPGs as well. The astounding graphical leap from 9 to 10 was unprecedented, as well as the addition of voice acting, which brought more weight to the interactions between characters, as well as one of the best love stories the series has ever told. Final Fantasy X might not have broken the mold when it came to the series' iconic turn-based battles, but everything around it was a staggering upgrade.
You knew this was gonna happen, didn't you?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell us?
If I had told you the truth, would that really have stopped you from coming?
Shadow of the Colossus. While both Echo and Shadow of the Colossus are undeniably iconic PS2 classics, Shadow of the Colossus gains the edge due to its brilliant gameplay design and masterful art direction. Shadow of the Colossus took the concept of impressive spectacle boss fights and made it their central mechanic of the entire game. These giants can often be found peacefully minding their own business until the player comes along, and each one presents its own challenge as players need to discover either the quickest way to the top or how to trap said Colossus to finally bring them down. For a game with virtually no dialogue, it's a testament to the game's spectacular direction that it's also one of the most emotional roller coaster rides on the PS2, and remains one of the landmark titles for the argument that games should be viewed as works of art. God of War 2.
Do you see, gods of Olympus? Do you need more proof than this?
When Kratos burst onto the gaming scene in 2005 with his Chaos Blades, his quest for revenge and no-nonsense attitude instantly made him an icon as the angriest protagonist in gaming. God of War 2 built upon this initial premise and managed to make Kratos even angrier as his betrayal at the hands of the gods spurred him into initiating their eradication from the Greek pantheon. The weapon selection was more diverse, the action was more visceral, the environments were far more varied and detailed, and the boss fights were some of the biggest in gaming at the time, and the over-the-top nature of these encounters easily made God of War 2 one of the best action games on the PS2.
Zeus, your son has returned! I bring the destruction of Olympus!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.